Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I thought I'd do this really quick video because I'm in this beautiful cafe, and yeah, I've been getting a lot of questions recently, so I feel like it only made sense to respond in video form because the questions have been quite repetitive. Anyway, so this video is on things that you should know, you need to know before you move abroad. Small disclaimer, I don't know everything, and I feel like people message me and think I know everything. I moved out here without knowing anyone, and yeah, I did the research myself and kind of learned from my experiences, but I will tell you about things that I have learned along the way. I think this video could actually be helpful for people that are moving all around the world, not only Asia. I've said many times in my videos before, it's not all perfect, and sometimes you go through stages where you almost regret moving abroad, but there are also good things. If it gets a bit noisy, I'm really sorry. I'm at a really nice cafe, so yeah, there's gonna be background noise. Let's get right into the video. Being homesick. You are going to be homesick. This is just one of those things where it's really weird, because if you travel or if you have traveled the world for it doesn't even matter how long, being homesick is real when you actually become an expat. It may not be your family or friends that you miss, it may just be little things, missing the language, missing food, missing, I don't know, it could just be anything, and little things can trigger you, especially missing events, like back home, for example, birthdays, weddings, and just special moments that you miss with your family. There's so many things that people do from back home when you first move abroad, and over time people get busy, you get busy and they get busy as well, so it's just and also time difference. I'm all the way in Asia, so maybe 6 or 7 hours ahead, so after a certain time, it's just hard to keep up communication. I'm not saying it's impossible, but people do get busy, and you shouldn't let it affect you. Basically, you do go through your phases of being homesick, and sometimes you'll just be completely done and be like, I'm not doing this anymore, and then you'll feel like, oh my god, I miss it so much. Like me, I went home on a one-way ticket and then came back because I missed it so much. You need to do as much research as possible, literally read reviews online. There's so many things you can do before you move abroad. Don't just move out there expecting for the best, because if you only watch videos or look at people's Instagrams, you're gonna be blindsided, because it's not all good. I mean, the majority of it is good and things usually do work out, but there are bumps along the road. People always ask me, oh, how much do you think I should save before I come to Vietnam? I've got $1,000 saved up, or I've got this, I've got that. And I've said it so many times, but I feel like every single time I tell people how much they should save up, the amount gets higher. And now I just feel like telling people, I don't feel like saying an exact amount. People, you just need to do your research, and it obviously depends on the country you're going to. So I'm in Vietnam, and it's it's really cheap out here compared to London. So it depends on the country. Find out how much is accommodation, how much am I going to need before I get my first paycheck, and you need money in case of an emergency. And I don't think you should come out here unprepared, financially wise anyway. You definitely need some money in the bank. Find out how expensive or cheap it is to live in that country. This is really important, because there's so many things that you need to know. For example, how much are the deposits? How much does it cost every month? You need to know these things, because you can't come out here with a certain amount and then have to basically spend it all on accommodation and deposits. And I feel like a lot of people make that mistake here. They feel as though they've read online that Vietnam is one of the cheapest countries in the world to live, and they forget that you may have to pay 1 or 2 months rent in advance, and then a security deposit as well. So all of that builds up. So I really feel like you need to do as much research as possible, otherwise you will run into problems. Culture. So I think it's really important to find out about the culture of the country you're moving to. For example, Vietnamese culture is different. There's a fly. It's really different to English culture because, first of all, there's a language barrier. I don't know how to speak Vietnamese. I get this question all the time. It really does get difficult at times, but there are ways to communicate with the locals. For example, like body language. I do know the basics to like get me by. Google Maps can help you out a lot. Google Maps can help you out a lot. And also just when I say culture, obviously there are things that we do in our home countries that are completely like different to what you do here. In Vietnam, I would say there's a level of respect that they give to their elders, and I don't think it would be the same as how it is in England. And you just need to make sure that you carry yourself in a way where you're not offending anyone. People need to realize that you can't be offended by everything because we just do things differently, if that makes sense. Yeah, so you just need to bear that in mind, like be respectful. Jobs and working legally and illegally. So this one's a bit of a confusing one. So obviously I'm in Vietnam and the rules are kind of different here. So find out before you get here, how are you going to sustain yourself while you are living abroad. So I'm not just this video isn't for travelers, it's mainly for people who are looking to become an expat or live abroad for a long period of time. So you need to know if you're going to be able to work. Are you going to have a job before you get here, or are you going to be able to find a job after you arrive? There's so many different ways of finding jobs. Some countries are easier than others. The expat community is probably one of the easiest ways to make friends. Also, people forget like you can make friends with the locals. It's really nice having locals as friends because they are such amazing people. They want to improve their English, and you can also learn the language. They can show you around. There's just so many benefits of having a local as a friend. And not to sound, that's not the only reason, like they are nice people as well. You can get so much help on those forums. Oh, these are on Facebook, by the way, so Facebook is really helpful. You can ask questions about doctors, dentists, where to get food items, so many different things, and I think it's super duper helpful. And obviously there are lots of events on there as well. This is so good. But I think it's really important because if you have any dietary restrictions, are you vegetarian, are you vegan, you need to find out if the country basically has places that will provide for you. If you're coming to a country that serves food that you don't necessarily like, or maybe you might be a picky eater. I can be a picky eater sometimes, so sometimes you kind of get over the food. And I love Vietnamese food so much, but I have my moments where I'm just like, oh, this is like boring. I want to have some Western food, and Vietnam is great for that because there's local food which is really cheap and delicious, and then there's also Western food. But Western food here is, in my opinion, quite expensive. But at least there's an option. You need to find out if you're able to buy certain things in that country. Pack your essential products that you will need. Some countries will not have stuff that cater to you. I am what they consider fat here. So if you're bigger than a UK size 10 or 12, you will be considered quite big, and it will be really hard to find your size in anything. Clothes, shoes. If you're a man that's got bigger feet than probably a UK size 9, it's going to be almost impossible. So pack things that you enough items that you'll need. If you do decide to move abroad, just know that this is going to be a life-changing experience, and there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. You're going to feel at times like you regret your decision, but in a few years' time, I think you'll appreciate the major move that you have done. But I've realized now that it is a big step and it is a really big move, so you should be proud of yourself. And if you ever feel down, just realize it's just a phase and it will go away. I think you should definitely get involved in the culture, do your research and enjoy your time abroad, because there's a reason why you left your country, your home country, wherever in the world it was, there's a reason. I think that's it. I'm not quite sure if I've left out anything. If I have, you can ask me in the comments. but I don't quite know. But anyway, I'm going to end the video here because it's getting quite long and my memory card is full. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.